All right, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whenever you hear this message, I pray that you're poised to receive, to accept, and to respond to words of wisdom. When a person lacks vision in life, they will find themselves in a perpetual state of distraction. So the degree to which you have a vision, you acknowledge that vision, you're able to focus on that vision, you're able to concentrate on that vision, you're able to meditate on that vision, you're able to become one with that vision so that there's no separation between you and your vision. You will experience less and less and less distraction from other people's dramas, from your own emotions, from it, you know, whatever the most recent entertainment craze is. Like, all of those things diminish in their influence, right? You may be aware of them, but their influence on your life and on your decisions becomes less and less and less, according to, in direct proportion with, your ability to really focus on your mission and your vision and your purpose. And what I know from my work over the years and my life is that most people get up to their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, and still do not find it within themselves to really focus on the vision that brought them into the world. And particularly within the space of Orisha lifestyle, it becomes very pronounced because we have within our belief system a lot of opportunities for you to deflect, a lot of opportunities for you to get lost in blaming witches, blaming enemies, blaming, haters, etc., etc. There's all these great opportunities. There's an endless flow of opportunities for you to attribute your problems, your failures, and your inadequacies to someone other than yourself. But in reality, if you have no mission, you have no purpose, you have no plan, then the idea that you have all these enemies and adversaries and opponents is absurd. It's ridiculous, right? And I'm saying this to you in this way, not to be offensive, but to really engage you in serious, mature self-reflection. You need to wake up. You need to face the reality. You need to become acutely aware of what's actually going on in your mind. And this is one of the reasons why I really appreciate the study and the practice of psychology. Because through psychology, we get the analysis of the ego. And while most people will refer to the ego as vanity, right? And that's typically, when we talk about the ego, we're talking about vanity. Psychologically, that's just one facet of what the ego does. ego functions in the fullness of your mind, the totality of your mind. The main function of the ego is to protect your self-image. And the ego is, in that regard, constantly working. It's so clever. It's to protect this image that you have of yourself, the way that you want to see yourself, and then the way you want other people to see you. The ego is constantly shifting and moving and changing position so that you can maintain this self-image, and you can continue to perpetuate or project that self-image out into the world. No matter how dysfunctional, how delusional, or even how self-destructive that image and the behaviors that you're engaging in to protect that image may be, the ego's only real concern is to perpetuate itself, right? The ego's job is to perpetuate itself, even to your own detriment. And so the ego, they say, is so clever in that regard that it even created the devil, right? The ego created the devil, so it has a perpetual scapegoat to blame for all of your inadequacies, failures, internal conflicts, and so on. Which is why I'm making this, earlier, the allusion to things like witches, things like, curses, things like enemies, things like haters. Everybody's working against me. You know what? A lot of that is your ego, right? Trying to protect you from the reality that you sleep in too late. You don't have patience. You don't finish what you start. You are inconsiderate of other people. Your communication style is corrosive. Like, you know what I mean? There's just all these things that are clear about your life. If you look back upon the whole span of your career as a person, right? The common denominator in all of your failures and all of your problems is you. This is something that all of us have to come to grips with if we want to really become masters of ourselves and then be able to follow the vision that brought us into the world. Because as soon as you decide that the only thing that really matters is your life, in your life, is your purpose, is your mission, in that vision that brought you into the world, then you also decide to make the ego a slave to your destiny. And now all of the cunning and all the cleverness and all of the, all that flexibility of the ego is made to accomplish what your soul brought you into the world to do. Yesterday I was sitting with a friend of mine, a lifelong friend of mine, old friend I've known since, like 14, 13 years old. And I always enjoy our conversations. But it's for reasons like this. We were talking about, he coaches Little League football, and Pop Warner, right? And we were talking about this young coach. He was telling me about a young coach that has joined the team. And as is fitting of a young coach, he is excited about creating a little tiny NFL team, and he has all these ideas and visions of how he's going to run the parents and how he's going to, demand these different attributes from the players, and he's going to just sort out the non, performers, and really assemble this super team, right? This dream team. And so my friend is listening to him, and ever so often just asking him key questions, right? Because he can tell by what the young man is saying that he's clear about the details, but he doesn't understand. He doesn't have a vision for the whole game. He doesn't have a vision for how you actually run a club. So he's asking him things like, how many plays do you get in a game on average? You know, how many plays? Guy's looking like blank stare. He's like, I don't know, And he's asking him, how many players do you need on a team? How many players do you need to run a practice? How many players do you need to run a practice for an entire season? Right? And every time he's asking him these questions, the young man doesn't have answers. So finally he hits him with the questions like, what's your philosophy of the game? Right? What is it that you're pursuing? What is it that you are bringing all of the rest of the team into? What's the vision that you have that you're inviting all of us to participate in? And the guy just has no answers to this. And of course he doesn't, because he's just starting out. But I love the way that he broke it down, because it's very consistent with what I'm telling you about having a vision for life, right? In life, if you don't have a vision for what you are inviting yourself to do, then you're going to be making every kind of mistake. And it's not really so problematic that you're making mistakes. It's just that you don't have a context for correcting those mistakes. You're not able to adjust in order to not continue to repeat those mistakes, right? And what happens is, once you age and you start getting into your 30s and you start getting into your 40s, and biologically and emotionally you're maturing, but you don't develop that sense of self-correction according to your vision, then you'll settle for blaming other people. You'll settle for creating all kinds of imaginary drama, because what it does is it generates the emotional energy, the emotional responses that are synonymous with an adventure. Your adrenaline starts to flow, your blood starts to pump, and you can feel like something's really happening, but in reality you're just fabricating drama for yourself. And it's a weak replacement for actually following a vision, a mission, and a purpose. And so, again, I'm saying all this because I want you to get clear about what's happening and what's not happening in your life. I want you to get really clear about what needs to happen and what needs to stop happening in your life. And in that process, I know that invariably what is going to happen once you get real clear about your vision, as you start getting more and more clear about your vision anyway, is that it's also going to help you to filter out certain elements from your environment, certain people, certain distractions, certain ways of entertainment, etc. You're going to start filtering them out, and you're going to gravitate towards the people and the experiences that reinforce what you're really here to do, and the way you actually need to be in the world in order to continuously strengthen your commitment to and your relationship with your vision, your mission, and your purpose. And so my work in the Orisha Lifestyle Academy is 100% focused on helping you to cultivate this inside-out approach to the fulfillment of your destiny. The books that I've written, the videos that I've recorded, the classes that I've developed, the School of Orisha Studies, and in our approach to Odu, our approach to prayer, our approach to invocation, our approach to dream analysis, our approach to worship, it all hinges upon your ability to practice self-discovery. It's not a one-shot deal. It's not just like, oh, one day you've discovered this vision and now all you do is pursue it. It's a practice. It's a set of habits that constantly bring you back to center, because you are going to get distracted. You are going to lose track. You are going to lose momentum at various points in your life. Certain things are just going to happen. The unexpected will crop up and you'll find yourself in a tailspin for a day, for a week, for a month. But through the practice, you're going to be able to come back to center faster, and you're going to be able to maintain your center for longer and longer and longer periods of time. So that's the purpose of my work, right? And it is what I mean by helping my people to restore the African mind. For me, self-discovery and self-mastery are synonymous with restoring the African mind, restoring your original mind, doing things, thinking about things, approaching things, seeing things the way we saw things in the beginning, right? The elders tell us that no matter how far a river flows, it never forgets its source. And so in recovering a clear vision of your prenatal choice, it is you aligning yourself with your origin, with your source, which will help you to flow more effortlessly toward fulfillment. And so this message I'm sending out to the leaders. I'm looking for people who are really ready to settle down and get into the lifestyle and the practice that will help you to bring positive influence into the world. If you're one of those people, then I want you to find out how Oloye or Bafemi Origuwa and the Orisha Lifestyle Academy can help you take your practice and your life to the highest level possible. Visit me at obafemio.com or orishalifestyle.com, and let's start working together to help you live the medicine that will heal your life and heal the lives of those who you are destined to serve. Visit me at obafemio.com or orishalifestyle.com today, and let's start doing what we came here to do. I look forward to working with you. Bye for now. Go Dabo.